And welcome, my Strong Girlies! And welcome back to our first podcast. It's going to get so exciting, but also a little scary at the same time because, starting something new is always a little scary, I must say. But I'm excited.
Me too.
So what are we going to do with this podcast?
So this is our podcast 1.2. We had a few episodes before this podcast was
14
released.
hours.
However, we wanted to do a little bit of debugging and start fresh.
Yeah.
Open it up with some new eyes and just see where it takes us.
We're very excited. And why we wanted to start this podcast and what it's all going to be about is our health journeys, making sure that we are holding each other accountable and just talking about what health and fitness means to us.
And Allie, what's this podcast called?
Oh, yes, we have a very fun name, the Strong Girl Shuffle.
Strong Girl Shuffle.
We need an air horn. We need that air horn.
She's Allie. I'm Megan.
We're going to be co-hosting this together. We're going to have very different perspectives on what fitness and health mean to us. And we just want everyone to find their inner strong girly.
Yeah. Kind of want to help you guys through our journey and through your own.
Our tarot reading. So one thing that really started and bonded our friendship was tarot. And so we're going to be picking one card from it. Well, Megan is going to be shuffling. We're going to be going through Megan's first deck that she
I was just going to ask if I could go through.
Yes.
So yeah,
tell us about it.
This is my first ever deck, and I thought that it would be kind of nostalgic to have my first deck be our first one for the podcast. It's the one that Allie bought me. It's called Spirit Song Tarot, and it's mainly based off of elements.
Yes, earth, water. Ooh, we have a card out already. Is that the card we want to be?
I don't know.
I think it should be. That's how the cards go, because we were shuffling them earlier, so it's already gotten the vibes. Our juju.
She's already charged.
She's charged and ready to go.
Okay.
So Megan's going to look at the card here and tell us what it's about. She's going to describe the card for us, for our non-video people.
So this is a little bit different, but it is called the 10 of Crystals.
Ooh, okay.
It is a mother alligator, and she is going through a very small stream of water, and surrounding her is crystals, which kind of ties into the 10 of Crystals. And as you can see, there's actually 10 kind of leading her in the direction of the water.
Yep.
She's
pathway.
A nice little pathway. And she's very big, very boastful, very strong, powerful woman, trying to just get herself. This is how I'm reading the card, I guess, but she's trying to get herself into the water. She's trying to gain that courage to kind of dip her toes into it. And on the bottom of the card, it says stability and attainment, and it is a water card.
Interesting.
So the elements have a huge impact on this.
So crystals in this deck represents pentacles, which is more of home, body, yourself, all entwined. So I see this as going into a stream. Megan did a great job describing what the card means.
Thank you.
But what I know of for the 10 of Pentacles, I'm using kind of my tarot mind and realizing that it is about fulfillment, ownership, completion, happy home. It's all good things with the sustainability. So I think this is a very fitting card with going into our first episode here. So what you got? What's your book tell you about it?
So with our opinions, being guiding yourself into a scary situation, dipping your toe into the water, the message of the 10 of Crystals, which I'm very glad that I said alligator, because at first I thought I said crocodile, and I was like, ooh, I messed up.
Oh, who would know? You gotta see by the teeth. Not that fancy.
Yeah, she doesn't have that drawn on. So it is an alligator. It is stability and attainment, and essentially it is on the borderland of water and earth. The alligator's primordial creative power supplies her with the essential groundwork to realize her goals.
Aww.
Her careful planning and methodical ways brought her long-term security, and she's earned the comfort and enjoys as she continues to strengthen her empire. The alligator is reminding you that you have worked hard to achieve what you have, yet she wants you to realize that there's always room for growth and
Oh,
change.
very true. Very fitting. I like that.
Consider how you can best use your skills towards jump-starting a project. Be
Ooh,
open to
jump-starting a
receiving-
project. I wonder what that could be about.
Beats me. So the key words is security, solid foundations, stability, prosperity, attainment, success, and
Success. Yeah, we're going to be
establishment.
great. This is going to be great for us. That's a
Yeah.
great first card.
I love that card.
Right?
Okay.
Yeah.
So, good start.
That is a great start. Oh, I'm very excited to see how this turns out. So we're actually going to take a quick little water break. So water is so important. And I always have a water ball with me. I call it,
I'm dropping everything.
that's all right. I have an emotional support water ball. It comes with me everywhere. It's just kind of a running joke. And I love Stitch. So there will be multiple Stitch stickers on it. So that's like my branding. Like, who needs to put a name tag when you put a Stitch sticker?
Be prepared
So we're
for
going to have a little water break.
Disney references.
Well,
I got my tea.
tea, still very nice.
I'm coming down, or I'm recovering from a cold. So
Mhm.
if at any point in time this podcast you hear me clearing my throat, I'm going to try my best to do it under the table so it doesn't catch on the audio. But yeah, I'm just recovering. So I'm sorry about that.
No, that's a-okay.
Oh.
So the first part here, I thought we should talk a little bit about us, who we are. Stranger danger? No, we're going to tell you who we are.
Don't stress. It's
Don't
just
stress.
us.
You will not be strangers. You're going to learn a lot about us here very soon.
Mhm.
So we're going to start off with my story here. So I actually just started getting into fitness and like caring about my health in the past about 4 years. So I started out, I grew up in a very large family, both figuratively and number-wise. I am the youngest of 4.
Mhm.
I grew, like, my Christmas morning is 13. Like, there's a lot of us, and we're very large people. And so it's kind of been my culture to be that bigger person in the friend group. Like, I just kind of accepted that was going to be my role.
Mhm.
And it was in 2019 when I started working at the gym.
Yeah.
And I had gotten to one of my, I don't think it was my all-time heaviest, to be honest. I avoided the scale, so I don't know.
Mhm.
But I was at one of my heaviest points, and I was like, I need to make a change. It is time to reboot.
Mhm.
So join the local gym like everyone does, 1st of January, see what's going to happen.
God love that good life.
Good life. Yep, gotta go. Gotta love good life. And so I joined the gym, and I was playing around, seeing what I could do, trying to figure out, went on the treadmill and played with some machines, didn't know what I was doing.
Mhm.
And I did that for probably about 8 months and just going here and there, never really committing to anything.
Mhm.
And then I hurt my knee. So I actually tore my ACL when I was in high school. And so and then my knee started hurting, and I was really scared I was going to hurt it again.
I keep forgetting that you tore your
It
ACL.
does, yeah, because I had surgery in 2016, and that I did gain quite a bit of weight during that time too, and I was really, really scared of hurting it again, and like injuring it. So once I had that flare up, I had tendonitis. Excuse me. I was like, nope, I can't do this. Got the hiccups. I was like, no, I gotta kind of take a step back, make sure I'm doing things correctly.
Mhm.
So at that point, I hired a trainer. So my lovely trainer, Blair, he was amazing. I actually just finished up with him in August. So actually yesterday would have been my 4-year anniversary with him. And so
Wow.
it was sad not to be together, but actually I went to the gym at my new gym, which was really exciting yesterday.
Yeah.
So I started I hired my personal trainer in November of 2019, and I was like, yep, this is where I'm going to make the change.
Mhm.
I was going to hire him for 6 weeks, just get back on track. Needless to say, it was 3 years later. We're still going strong. And I wanted to hire him to help me make sure I was doing things correctly, because I didn't know what I was doing.
You got to get that form right.
I had no idea what form was. I was playing around with machines, not doing them correctly.
Yeah.
And so I wanted to hire someone who could teach me to make sure I didn't hurt my knee more. It was the root of it all.
Absolutely.
And here I was being like, I really enjoyed working with him. He really did change my life, and we'll get into a whole other story about that, because there's a lot to unpack on that
Story
one.
time, yeah.
That's a story. Like say, I wanted to fire him the first time I met him. So
we'll get further into
yeah,
that.
we'll talk about that another day.
Yeah.
But I wanted to find out what I'm doing correctly, to make sure that I am doing things so I'm not hurting myself more.
Mm-hmm.
And so I was in a good stride. Life was going great. I had that moment where I was like, yes, I love the gym. I want to work out. I want to get strong. Let's go. Let's go. Let's go. Pandemic. A week later, week after I had that aha moment that they all talk about, a pandemic happened.
Yeah.
And so during that time, that was hard on a lot of people. And I was looking for some home videos and home workouts because I was like, nope, I'm not going to let this derail me. I'm not going to let it. And I was looking on YouTube and I found some strongmen doing some home workouts. And I was like, it was nice to see someone my size, a bigger body, doing push-ups, doing sit-ups, doing these things that I was told I couldn't do because of my size, or at least I thought I couldn't do because of my size. So it was really inspiring to see these strong men do these workouts. Yeah. And then I went down that rabbit hole and took a deep dive into strongman. And that was my pandemic obsession.
Found your niche.
Found my niche, a very small niche. Yeah. And I watched everything and just learned and became invested and found out these big burly men who look terrifying that like I can't even imagine like being around them in person are actually like the biggest softies.
The sweetest people.
They're the teddy bears. They will give you the shirt off their back. They'll give you anything. They'll help you. You have questions. They're like, come to me, little one. Yeah. I will teach you my ways.
I was just going to say, like, I've only experienced the strong man niche or world of strongman, I guess is a better word, in the last 2 years that I've known you.
Yeah.
And it's actually one of the most positive communities I've ever witnessed.
Yeah.
And you were talking earlier about like seeing these people on screen doing things that you never witnessed anyone else doing. And you know what? Now that you talk about it, it is true. Every fitness person that you see online, they're like stick thin. And there are some mid-sized men and women who are doing fitness as well, but it's nothing that you see.
No, you don't see it very often.
That it's really rare.
And that's part of the reason why I wanted to start this is because I wanted to show other people that my size who can do it. I've been on this journey for 4 years and I hit a lot of it.
Yeah.
I was very self-conscious. It was very personal for me. It was not an easy choice. I took it as a personal failure that I had gotten to the weight I was at. And why would anyone think I'm inspiring or want to watch me lose the weight? Because I've lost 85 pounds. It's a big accomplishment. It's something I'm very proud of. And I'm glad because I'm a lot healthier and happier because of it. Yeah. But I still have a long ways to go. And I'm now ready to show it, but I wasn't ready when I was at my heaviest and starting out for the first time because I was so scared of judgment and so scared of what my family would say, what my friends would say. And also it was a lot of self-doubt of, I was very much like, I put myself in this situation to get to my heaviest weight. I did it to myself and it's not something I'm proud of. So why would anyone watch me want to improve myself? It was a very weird concept, and now I've learned that that's not the case. Like any time that someone is bettering themselves, it's something to be proud of and to inspire, and people want to watch it. Even though at the time I was like, no one wants to.
You've grown into a different mindset.
Oh, I'm a different human being.
Yeah, exactly.
Because of the gym and working out. And so it was coming back from the pandemic. I was like, I want to do strongman. And my trainer was like, okay, let's start with like deadlifts. Because I remember watching Eddie Hall do that 500 kilogram deadlift. I was like, oh my God. That's amazing.
I want to try it.
I want to go try that because he almost died, but I wanted to try it like a deadlift, see what I can do.
Absolutely.
Because I've always been naturally strong.
Yeah.
It's something I remember getting in trouble for when I was younger because I would be showing off my strength to like a kid, and then they go, this Allie wouldn't hurt me because they punched me as hard as they can, but the kid asked me to punch them as hard as they could. Type of situation. And so I always seen my strength as a disadvantage or something to be shameful of. And being at the gym, being with my trainer, and working out is something I'm now very proud of and something that I see as an asset. And I'm like, I'm strong. What you got?
Strength.
It's a strength. Yeah, exactly. So I we're focusing on that. So I was working out really hard with my trainer, and then I started doing the strongman classes here on the island, go Island Strength and Power. So it was really fun. And and even those guys, like it was a very small group. Like there was only 2 new people, me and one other girl, and then 3 people who've done it before.
I was gonna say it just started off with 5 people. Right?
Yeah, there's
like
5, but 3 of them knew what they were doing. They had done competitions, they had been a part of it, or they were the teachers.
Absolutely.
And so it was really 3. There was another person too that was before you came, when I did my first competition.
Okay.
So there was 3 of us girls. One was a power lifter, one was a CrossFitter, and then there was me, just a schmo going to the gym type of situation.
A starting point.
Yeah, a starting point. And so then we did, so I did my first competition in February of last year, and I was really excited. I thought I got that bug. I was like, this is really awesome. I felt so empowered. I was so proud of myself that I was like, yeah, okay, let's do this.
Mm-hmm.
And so I did my first competition, and that was in February.
Yep.
And then
I got to witness that. That was a marvel. I had to kind of content careful myself there.
Censor.
Yeah,
and I was so like, I remember like, because doing the log lift was something. So in that competition, we'll go into more detail about that. But one of the things was a log lift, and Maxime Boudreau was judging my log lift, and I was fangirling so hard. I was like, oh my gosh, this man was 3rd at World's Strongest Man. Okay, he's watching me do a log lift, which he has a world record in Canada about. But he was so nice. He was like giving me pointers right after.
Look at you fangirling.
Oh, I was so fangirling, and I'm like thinking about it now, I'm getting flushed.
Right.
But I remember like thinking I missed the first one, and but I had gotten it, but I forgot to look at him. Like I was locked out. I got the lift. I just forgot to make eye contact with the judge because I was nervous.
Well, I mean, how can you?
Because I hadn't done it
with a beast like that in front of you.
Well, that and the fact that I had never done it.
Yeah.
And so that was like, and I was just proud that I got over my head.
Absolutely.
But he was so nice. He was so encouraging. And Sam and the rest of the people who were running the show, everyone was so supportive.
So positive.
And like, I remember you and my mom were being like, these people like don't even know you, and they're cheering you on and giving you tips and like encouraging you. And I'm like, and I knew that because I had watched the sport and I had seen it.
Yeah.
But you guys were like in awe of that.
Witness it firsthand, because like you said, you see all these fitness gurus and all of these people who are going to the gym, and they're just kind of like doing their own thing and focusing on themselves. But in strongman, it's such a different element. It's like, I want to be the strongest, but I want to be competing against somebody who's gonna really pull me in for my money.
It is, and it's also like, you're proud of that person who did that lift, even if it beats you, because they gave it their all.
You know how heavy that lift is.
You know how heavy that is.
So when you see someone else accomplish that, and it's like, okay, so if you get 6 and somebody gets 7, it's like, dude, I know how I felt at that 6. So the fact that you pulled one more, impressive.
It is. So you appreciate it.
Yeah, we can definitely go into strongman for
yes, we will definitely talk more about
hours.
that. And so I did 3 competitions this year. I placed top 3 in all of them, which was the goal. Very happy about that.
Right.
And I competed at Atlantics, and I was very proud of that. And so I was very happy with how my fitness journey was going. I felt like one of my strongest. I felt on top of the world. I can do it. But then after the strongman at the Atlantics, my life turned a bit of a 180. I had to move. I had to leave the gym. I left my trainer, and like nothing to him. It was more of me, financial situations. We're in a recession. I moved. I actually moved twice this past year. Like I've had so many life changes that I had to unfortunately leave the gym, and I've switched to a new gym, which I'm just starting up, I'm really glad, and using this podcast to kind of keep me on track, making sure I'm keeping to my goals. My goal is to go twice a week. I went once. And so, hey,
we're already going into goals.
We're already into goals, but like, I with me, it's about bettering myself. That's what I want. Is I've seen how much growth I have done, how much better of a person I feel, and I not both physically but both mentally, through fitness and going to the gym, and that's where I feel like I am a strong girl. Yeah, and so that's what I'm going to be focusing on moving forward. Is that that aspect of the fitness journey. Like, and the gym has not just given me like my strength and ownership and positivity with the gym. It's made me a better person overall. Like I am a different human being than I was. Everyone around me tells me, and I see it too.
Yeah.
And I see it as a positive change.
Yeah.
That I am able to make fitness and health a priority, because it wasn't for, gonna tell my age, like for 27 years, it was not a priority. Like I just didn't care enough about myself to make myself a priority.
But you couldn't see yourself in that light.
It's not that I couldn't see myself in that light. It's just that I didn't care enough about myself.
Yeah.
To make it a priority, to make sure that my health, my fitness, my overall health was a priority. And now it has to be a priority.
Well,
like
your family was so accepting of.
Yeah, it was okay to, like I say, I come from a larger family. And it's not like we were promoting it.
Yeah.
It was just, I was comfortable because it was the norm.
Ashamed about it. Yeah.
It was the norm to be around bigger bodies. And so I didn't see it. It's not that it's something wrong, but I didn't see it as needing to improve.
Absolutely. If it ain't broke, don't fix it.
But it's just something that I wanted to do for me. And I wanted to become the best I could be. And I had to, and I found the strength and the confidence at the gym.
Do you mind me asking? Because like I never met you before gym.
Nope.
I've never met you pre-gym. I met you post-gym.
Yeah.
And I was with you during that move and during the changes in your life. And I have noticed a difference in your personality when you were going to the gym versus when you took your break for yourself.
Oh, yeah.
And nothing against taking a break for yourself to work through what you needed to work through and deal with the changes that were going in your life. But do you find, since going back to the gym yesterday, we were talking about, like, before the podcast, Allie was explaining to me, like, she was doing some exercises at the gym and she felt her lats a little bit.
Yeah.
Do you find now, starting up the gym, it's only been a day, but starting up at the gym again, do you find that your mood has kind of upped a little bit? Like you're feeling a little bit more energized, a little bit more motivated?
Not yet. I'm still in the anxious period. Like I sat in my car for 30 minutes before going into the gym.
Oh.
And I was in the gym for 40 minutes and I stayed in one little corner. Yeah. So I'm not there yet.
But it's a new gym too.
There's a lot of new. There's a new gym. I'm working out by myself, which I have done before in the past. It's just, it's been a while and it's a new gym in a new environment. I'm not comfortable there yet.
Absolutely.
So I'm not there yet. I'm excited to feel these muscles again. And I'm excited to know that of how I will be feeling. But right now I'm still in that anxious. I
don't know anybody in this.
I don't know anyone. And actually one of the things I tell myself is, because when I was doing strongman training, it was Thursday night after working out with my trainer in the morning, after a long day of work. And I always went. And so my thing was, if there were strongman, I would do it. If there was strongman training, I would do it. So I'm kind of using that mindset. I'm like, and everyone has been fantastic. Like my coaches from Strongman and my Strongman family there have all been very supportive, being like, see you at the gym, welcome back. So they're very supportive. So I'm kind of using that mindset of, okay, this is for Strongman. This is for Strongman. This is something I really enjoy. I want to get back into, and maybe see about going into the open category in the new year. We're not there yet. Right now, that's not
okay. We're gonna get into that.
That's another topic, but that's a topic to discuss at a later date.
I'm excited about that.
But right now it's novice in February. But because that's fine. You need a starting point.
You gotta start somewhere,
right? And so that's kind of where I'm at with my journey. It's getting back in, and I still have that new gym starting over. New gym jitters. Oh, so it's just new jitters altogether. I feel like I don't know what I'm doing, but I've been doing this for 4 years. So it's having that confidence to be like, no, you're okay. And I also forgot headphones. So that was like in my head.
There's always something that you're forgetting.
Right.
If it's not the headphones, it's the chalk.
Yes. Oh, wow. The chalk. That's a story for another day.
Oh my.
Yeah.
Well, thank you for sharing.
Yeah. So what about you? What brought you and why do you, what's your health journey like?
I think first we need to have a little bit of a water break, because we're learning to be vulnerable here today, folks.
Exactly. So, do you have a drink?
All right.
Because
Cheers.
now we're talking about you, and I know how much you love to talk about you.
Oh, yeah. I absolutely adore it. Time to spill the tea on Little
Spill the
Miss B.
tea, yes. And we'll talk a little bit more about it. But one of the things was about being vulnerable and open in our true selves.
Yeah.
So that's something that we all struggle with. It's hard to be vulnerable and open up. So that's one of the reasons we restarted.
Time to crack that shell and shuffle in.
Let's go. What you got for us? So tell us the story of Megan.
All right. Well, yeah. Hi, my name's Megan.
Hi, Megan.
I feel like I'm starting an AA meeting.
That's what I thought too.
So just a little bit about me, just so you can kind of get to know me a bit more. I am someone who doesn't take things very seriously. I try my best not to. And that is a recent development. I'm a 90s baby, so just to give my little age clarification, I am not old, but I'm not young either.
She is 4 years younger than me, so she can shut it.
That's why I said I'm not old, not young.
Okay.
So either way, the thing that I would like to discuss with regards to my fitness journey, it's mainly just, I don't even know how to put it. So I think I'm just going to do what you did. I'm just going to start with my family. My family was a little bit strict on my health, mainly because my mother was diabetic and it does run in the family. So my family was like really concerned with what we ate, how much we ate, and what times we ate. So I started at a very early age of being consciously aware of what I'm putting into my body, what I'm doing with my body, and how much pressure I was putting on myself. And I might not have realized it until I was a little bit older that I was putting a lot of pressure on myself, but I was. I was in track since I was a little girl, loved to run. I used to pretend that I was a fox and I was running in the fields. Like
That's awesome. I can totally see you doing that.
So yeah, I really, really enjoyed just pretending that I was an animal running through nature. And then it developed into an actual track journey, I guess. I don't know how else to explain that. Like I would actually go into competitions.
Nice.
My brother was a competitive swimmer, and then there were some issues with my family. Like they got divorced. I'm going to be, you know what? We're talking about vulnerability. My family got divorced.
Yep.
So there was
facts.
Yeah, it's facts. There was a lot of moving, so we couldn't really go into swimming. I tried to commit to track, but it was
track would be easy thing to do while moving, and like everyone has a track team, and you can run anywhere. So it's not like you need a pool, or weights or.
I just didn't join competitions. Like I would still run the track run, but I wouldn't join if they were having a competition or a tournament. Like I just couldn't join the event because it would be on weekends, and then every second weekend I was at my dad's place.
Yeah,
and same thing with my brother. My brother was doing swimming and taekwondo, so we were a very fitness oriented family. But then after the divorce, it kind of got a little bit difficult for us to keep track of where to go and when, which is nothing wrong with it. We still watched our weight and we still ate healthy and tried our best to maintain our fitness goals. But then it kind of got to a point where it was unhealthy.
Okay. Like, more of like an obsession?
Yeah, in a way. Like there was two opposite spectrums. So my brother and I, we kind of, when we were with our mom, we were just like really restricted because we had to focus on her diet. And then when we were with my dad, we would pick out. So there was a huge jump in our health. Now, luckily, like my brother and I, we still go out for our walks. And after this podcast, I'm going to go for my 10,000 walk, my 10,000 step walk. Thank you, Pikmin Go, for motivating me to get my steps in. That is. It is a fun little app.
Oh, cool.
So yeah, just a nice little tidbit about me. I'm also very nerdy. So I like to have my little games if I can here and there. And Pikmin Go is kind of my new obsession. It is just an app on the phone. So it's kind of like Pokemon Go.
Cool.
Yeah, but it's for like a Nintendo platform called Pikmin.
Yep.
And it's just these little plant guys that follow you around. You plant flowers, you destroy mushrooms. Eventually I can destroy slugs, but there's none here in my area yet. So we'll wait. We'll wait. Yeah, exactly. We'll wait and see. I think it's just a level thing.
Okay.
Because I'm level 30. So in that game, that's not very high.
Oh.
Believe it or not. But yeah, I digress. We got to work through it. So I still go for my daily walks, and that's where a lot of my fitness still remains.
Yep.
I tried doing the gym. I actually started last year in October. October 31st was my first day at the gym, and I would do treadmill a lot. I really enjoyed running, and it just brought me back to how much I enjoyed that freedom of just like going, giving it my all. I did want to get a triangle figure, so I wanted to look like Wonder Woman. That was one of my goals when I first started the gym, and I felt like in 2 years that was pretty attainable.
You also went really hard.
Oh, I did.
You were not doing the smart way.
I don't fuck around.
Yeah.
I found out.
There you go.
But I don't fuck around.
Yeah.
So
there's difference between being committed to the gym, which is important because you need consistency to go when you don't want to, and then there's overkill.
Yeah.
There was a little overkill.
How dare you?
Speaking truth.
Yeah, I really enjoyed the classes. That was the thing that I found.
The bingo
out.
card.
Dude, the bingo card
That's
was
how
like,
they gotcha.
It got me good.
It did.
It got me good. It's because I love gambling. You can tell I'm a Newfoundlander by nothing against Newfoundlanders. We're not all gamblers. I won't disclose that, but
it's prominent.
It's a thing.
It's a thing.
You got to get your Lotto 649 on Fridays.
Well, you never know.
You never know. You don't know unless you play.
Oh, yes. Yep.
So, that all being said and done, that bingo won me in. It got me good.
Mm-hmm.
I started going into a lot of classes. I really liked cycling.
Mm-hmm.
And my brother and I, we used to ride bikes a lot when we were kids. Actually, during the summer, I was really committed to selling my car and just getting a bike. Thank God I didn't decide to do that because my butt still hurts with the thought of sitting on that cycle.
Mm-hmm. Should have done the electric bike.
I might. I was actually thinking of getting a Peloton. Is that what it's called?
Yeah, that is a thing. But
I also know that it's like kind of, I don't know. I'm doing a bit more research in it. I'm just trying to figure myself out. I really enjoy the walks right now and hiking. So that's my main source of fitness. And just being out in nature, just like a really big motivator for me.
Yeah.
So for you, I find it really interesting for you with your fitness journey. You get motivation by going to the gym and seeing other people working out and seeing...
I watch so much strongman.
Yeah.
And I get so excited watching them and I get really inspired to be like, yeah, let's go.
For me, it's like the complete opposite. I hate having people around me because then they can hear, I just don't like hearing people breathing and grunting.
Says the runner who sounds like I die running.
Yeah.
So that's like, I'm like,
but I have my headphones in. And by the time that I walk past somebody, I'm like, huffing.
So you hold your breath while you walk by them?
Yeah, I do.
I do the same. That's why we don't walk together because I'm like,
that's why I don't like walking up the steps. I'm like running like up 3 flights and then like I'm halfway there. Oh God, when I take the boat home and I run up the flight of steps.
Those are steep stairs.
You don't take the elevator on the boat. You're waiting 20 minutes for the elevator. I'm running those steps. And you know what? After the first flight, I'm already huffing.
I don't blame you.
And like, it just brings me back to university days because I used to have to go up 5 flights of stairs to get to my class.
Yeah.
I was winded.
Oh yeah. I would leave early so I can go up those stairs and catch my breath and then give me like 5 minutes before going to class.
Yeah.
Oh, I get you.
Like it got to a point where I looked at my roommate because we were on the top floor and all of my classes were on the bottom floor. At the end of my class, I'd look at my roommate and be like, bring the squeezy bottle. So as soon as I'd run up the flight of stairs, she could squirt me with the water so I could like have some relief after running this flight.
Oh man.
So yeah, I'm not the most, well, I can't say I'm not the most fit. I'm just.
You're very fit. Like, because you would run a lot, you used to say.
Yeah.
Like you would run like 10.
I'd get to the point where I would like feel like I need to throw up.
Yeah, like 10 kilometers. Bad. And I'm like,
dude,
like that's
just my house.
No.
That's just my house to the school.
Exactly.
Like, I would take longer walks.
I know. And I like that's
bad.
It's not bad.
Well, yeah. I mean, like, it's not bad because everyone does it, but it was at an unhealthy rate that I was doing it. So it was bad in mentality for why I was doing it. Yeah. But at the end of the day, I got to say that I walk 10K every day.
Yeah, you did walk 10K every day. I'm just like, nope, not at all. No, I don't mind walking. I like walking when I have a purpose.
Yeah.
But I don't like walking for fitness. I just find it boring.
Absolutely.
And it doesn't motivate me. Like I like going on hikes and I like going for walks, like if I have a point, like, but for the most part that doesn't motivate me to keep going. That's like, oh, it's a chore.
Yeah.
It's a chore to do it. Versus where I'm going to the gym, it's like, yeah, let's go.
Yeah. And you're seeing everyone else doing it and you're like, you know what? Like if they can keep going, so can I. But for me, it's like I almost have to find that passion within myself. And that's where the walking in nature kind of takes in. So I don't get my motivation from other people. I get the motivation from the wind. I feel like I'm talking to Mother Earth as I'm walking her. Yeah. So it sounds really hippie when I say that.
You're such a hippie.
I am very much a hippie and I'm realizing that now.
Just now?
Yeah. Yeah.
Wow, I could have told you that last year.
Well, shite. Either way.
It's fine. You are such a hippie.
I don't know, man. It's just like, I was born in the woods. So I just got so used to just being surrounded by nature and just having the birds chitter to me, having the squirrels have a good old chat. Yeah. Just having that element of nature and just seeing that regrowth and knowing that I can do that too. It just really helped. Yeah. Really helped motivate me to just keep going. And then when I went to the gym, I almost felt like a caged animal. Like I was forced to keep going, even though I didn't know what I was doing. Yeah. And it was just really difficult. And it would have been nice to have that trainer. But at the same time, like I have a lot of difficulty with the loyalty, being committed to going certain times of the day, certain hours of the week. I found that really, really difficult because my schedule was just not standardized. So
see, I had to make like it wasn't easy. No, but I made sure I talked to my employer about it, and there was very few times like I only missed if I had a good reason. If like something came up with work, snowstorms, I can't control the weather. Absolutely. Or if I was sick. Yeah. But other than that, I was there. Yeah. And it was because I knew there was someone waiting for me. Yeah. Is part of it for me. And it made me accountable. It made me want to go because I was excited to see what he had planned. Because I didn't know this. It's a little different when you're going in and planning it yourself. You kind of know what to expect. You slightly dread it. Yeah. You kind of talk yourself out of things. But when you say, hey, you're doing these split lunge things that are death, and he's yelling
leg day today, baby.
Oh, he likes to start with leg day. You worked out with him too.
I did.
Yeah, he always says leg day.
You know what? It's so funny because we're the exact opposite when it comes to fitness. Yeah. Because for me, having somebody be there and having expectations makes me anxious because it's just like, oh, I'm not going to exceed their expectations. I'm not going to be good enough to do what they need me to do or want me to do. And then being able to just be like, wake up one day and be like, you know what? Like instead of going for my regular walk today or go for my jog, I'm going to go for a hike. Yeah. I feel like that freedom just allows me to
feel less anxious about it. Or for me, I needed that structure of, I don't know what I'm doing. You tell me what to do and I will do it.
Yeah. Yeah. That's so funny.
It is. We're very different humans.
Very different. Yeah. But you know what's so funny? It's the exact opposite in our daily lives.
It is. It is. It really is. Just this one aspect.
Yeah. Yeah. It's just the fitness. Yeah. It's like I need that element to just chill me out and you need that element to pump you up. And then it's reversed when it comes to life. That's crazy.
It's so funny.
Okay. Well,
so that's all. Anything else about Miss Megan that we might not have touched on? I think we touched on most of you. But we should move on to our next part where we're talking about what this podcast is all about.
Why?
The why.
The why.
Who, what, when, where, how. Woo. But first.
We're so weird.
Yeah, we're weird.
I'm just a weirdo.
Welcome to the club. Accept the weird. Embrace it.
That's right.
So we are going to be moving on and talking about what this podcast means to us, what we want, the why we started it. So the why I started this is I had mentioned earlier that I've been on a fitness journey for the past 4 years, but I didn't really have anyone who was actively going through it. Absolutely. I was not seeing people my size, doing what I'm doing. Like a lot of the weightlifters / bodybuilders or power lifters, strong women, they all started usually pretty thin and then got the bug and built up. I don't see very many people, if any, who started as a larger body and moved the opposite direction. Yeah. Which is a very hard concept for me because I actually had to stop weighing myself because I was putting on this muscle. I was losing inches, but I stopped losing weight on the scale.
Yeah.
And it messed with me mentally.
Absolutely.
And so I had to, that was one of the choices I made, is to not weigh myself, because it put a negative spin on things, because I knew I was getting smaller. I knew I was getting stronger. I knew I was getting healthier, but that number was not moving. So I had to eliminate that measurement for me, because it's just a measurement. It's like just like a gauge on a car.
That's all it is. Just
it's a weight of measurement that did not work for me. And so I wanted to do a podcast, and you really encouraged me to talk about my story, and I kept it a secret that I was doing this for a while, and people would notice the changes, and they were all really excited and happy for me. But it was something that I didn't openly talk about.
Just to plug in, that was her going and doing her fitness, not the podcast.
Yes, the fitness. And so now I'm ready to talk about it, about what I'm doing, be more open and sharing with what I'm currently doing, because I'm in such a transitional space where before it was me and my trainer, we were doing it together, and I had a few people cheering me on, and I really appreciate it. But now it's me cheering myself on, making sure I'm doing these workouts. It's just, it's different mindset, and it's different phase of my life. And we're shuffling through. You missed it. Woman, the punny girl here. She's always with the puns, but yes, we're shuffling through it. And so I want to use this podcast to kind of keep myself accountable and to be there for people who are also going through a journey. Absolutely. I'm told I'm entertaining. I don't get it, but I've been told. So maybe you can let us know if you think we're entertaining.
You think we're funny? Hit that like button.
Please tell me.
We need some feedback, please.
So what about you? What is your why for starting this?
Well, to be quite frank with you, we sat down and talked about our personal journeys so much. I just felt like this was kind of a lifelong journey that holding ourselves accountable, absolutely. Yep. Showing a bit more vulnerability, 100%. But not only that, just being a source for people who are kind of going through a similar situation as us. Yeah. Somebody who thinks that they can't do it just because of their body shape or what society tells them, what their family tells them, being broken down and beaten and in a dark place, just thinking, I can't get out of this. Like, this is my hole and I'm stuck in it. I wanted to make this podcast with you to kind of support you through your journey, but also to support people who are going through similar things. Yeah. You know,
you're a really good friend that way.
Yeah, I'm here for the little people. Little guy, gotta have some support too.
Exactly.
Yeah, I just want to be that rope of encouragement. Like, you know, it might seem tough in the beginning, and it always is, but I'll use this quote that I learned from one of my instructors. There is a difference between pain and discomfort.
Yes.
And I want to push past that discomfort. I want to push past that line of, I can't do it. I'm not good enough. No one's going to enjoy this, or me, my time.
Your inner saboteur, as RuPaul would tell us.
Yes. Your self-critic.
Yep.
I want to push past that person and just be like, you know what? I can be a better self. I can be a better me. Yeah. And I want to be that voice and help you raise your voice to people who feel a little bit belittled just because of what someone else said or how they see themselves. Like, no, your mirror is lying to you. Like, you are a better person than you believe you are to be. And if you work towards your goals and keep yourself accountable, you can reach that.
Yep, absolutely. Fully agree.
So that's what I'm here for.
Gotcha. That's fantastic. So one of our goals here is for the podcast is to be accountable for each other, inspire each other to work out, work on our goals, whatever that
inspire
is. Inspire you guys, talk to you guys. I want to hear your stories, make us feel less alone that we're just not talking to each other. But hey, if we're just talking to each other, it's another Saturday afternoon.
Yeah, it's just us on the couch.
Right? Just us on the couch. And so one of the things we kind of alluded to was at the beginning, we've already done this. This is round 2. Yeah. So do you want to talk a little bit about how this is 2.0 Strong Girl Shuffle?
Yeah. Well, first of all, I want to mention we are not professionals by any means. I've already had like 2 black screens behind me here, and then we
lost the timer.
We lost the timer.
We switched to my phone. So, we're making it work.
So, yeah. the first podcast, so to speak, our first introductory podcast, it was kind of just getting comfortable with speaking in the mic, getting comfortable with time, and getting comfortable with topics, and also
not rambling. We love to rant. We are Maritimers through and through. Questionable Maritimer.
I'm an Islander.
No, you're not.
Yeah, I am.
No, you are not. I have been here for 12 years and I'm not an Islander.
Woman, what do you think the Rock is? It was not an island.
You're your own breed.
Islander.
No, an Islander is PI. Oh, we're gonna start a fight. We're gonna start fighting. Maritimers are coming through.
Atlantic.
We'll call Atlantic Province. That's better.
Yeah.
You are part of the Atlantic.
I'm trying to combine Rock and Islander, and I keep getting Rylander, and I'm like, that doesn't make no sense. And then I'm like, Ike. And I'm like, what the heck is that?
You're just a newfie.
I'm an
Ick. No, you're a newfie. That's all you are, girlie.
That's right, bitch. You better best believe I'm a Newfoundlander, born and raised, and I'll be one till I die.
Exactly.
I'm proud to be an Islander, and here's the reason why. Woman.
You're a newfie.
That's right.
So you're on the wrong island to be saying.
Okay, we gotta cut this.
No, we're not cutting it.
No, we gotta stop. We're gonna get a fight. I'm gonna put up some fists.
Oh, feisty one.
Woo! I didn't have my chicken nuggets today, but I'm feeling feisty.
Feeling feisty with them chicken nuggets.
We're going through some spiritual healing, and with that comes a little bit of fire.
Yeah, oh yes. But there's the beginning of our passion.
We'll bring in some more ice into this. So, what were we talking about before?
What do we want to...
I got off topic.
So
talking about rambling.
Right. But that's good. This is what you want. This is us just being us.
Absolutely.
And we go on rants, we go on tangents, we get a little feisty.
I remember what we were talking about now.
Good, because I don't.
Okay. We were talking about why we restarted around.
Yes. So there we go. Thank you for bringing us all back.
I got you, girl. So you just why you got me on team. Keep me track.
This is why you're the host.
Oh God, I'm still not used to that. I got taken off guard so fast. My little
So when we originally started, it was a very different vibe. Mm-hmm. Megan was going by a different name. She wanted to be the co-host. That's why she got a little jittery there. She was like, "Oh, it's all about you. It's all about
I want you to be the shadow."
And I was like, "Girl, no. Like you're on this every day with me. We're in this together. It's not just a me show. It's an us show."
Yeah. The vulnerability and just showing my true face was a really difficult thing for me to get past. Yep. And that was one of the main reasons why we restarted the round. I did a lot of therapy and a lot of spiritual healing, like I just said. And Allie's recovered from her many changes. So we're in a more stable place. And I feel like because of the growth that we did outside of the podcast, we kind of grew into two very different individuals since starting the first episode.
Oh,
and
yes.
I kind of wanted to, we're definitely going to be keeping the original podcast and like have little snippets for reels and just like blast from the past.
Yeah.
But I did want to start it with a little bit of fresh eyes just because we have learned a lot in the last few months that we kind of took a break from the original setup. Mm-hmm. And we were going through a lot of personal changes, but a lot of environmental changes too. Like our second episode in our podcast was at the library.
Oh, that's right.
And then I'm going to save this for a story time, but just as a little like spoiler or a little prologue, if you will, we got kicked out of the library. So now we're back in my basement apartment. It
wasn't like we did anything wrong, but we got kicked out.
We'll tell the full story.
Yeah, you have to wait for that one.
That's right. Anticipation, if you will.
Yeah.
So yeah, we're in my basement apartment. My partner and I, we kind of set this up as a gaming room, but I told him that I wanted to restart the podcast with Allie, and we hadn't talked about it in this moment, but like I already bought the phone board.
Yeah, it's already up.
She's up and away, but yeah, I was really committed to restarting this, and I felt like this was something that could really go forward in the future in a positive way. So I felt like starting it again now and doing the introduction again as who we are in this present time after all of the experiences that we had, I felt like was necessary.
I agree. Like we definitely wanted to restart and do this first episode, reintroduce ourselves because it was so long ago. It was back in April.
It was.
And it's November. So like there's a lot has happened in that span.
Some time.
So do think it's great that
my hair has changed 3 different shades.
Yep. And it's important to be more timely, relevant, in the
Mhm.
moment, talking about it. So we're planning on having 2 or 3 episodes recorded ahead, and then just right into posting
Absolutely.
and not be so worried. Like, I know I was
Yeah.
worried about like having a bunch of podcasts done and ready to go before we even published our first one.
Yeah.
Which hindsight does not make sense.
We were prepared, but we were over prepared.
We were over prepared. We had very high expectations.
Yeah. But either way, yeah, we focused on perfectionism a little bit too hot in the moment. And that was even before we had the first episode published and edited. And then there was also the fact that we were putting so much work into the editing, it just didn't feel genuine.
It did. We, like, say, our very first episode, it was originally 48 minutes, 58 minutes, and we cut down to 38. So you took out 20 minutes. And like some of it
and there was 2 parts.
It was 2 parts.
There was a part for you and a part for me.
Yeah.
And there was a lot that needed to be cut out. And we were so focused on the ums and the uhs.
Yeah,
and
it just wasn't genuine.
breaks.
So we've learned, we've taken notes, we've accepted like minimum editing. We're working on our timing so that we can post it in the one go type situation. But I'm excited for this new chapter, how it's gonna go.
Me too.
I think we learned a lot. We learned what to do, what not to do.
Absolutely.
So I think we're in a much better place to make this place. I glitch a little sometimes. To succeed at this, and something that I think we need to give it a real good go and see what you guys like and what we don't like, and see what we can actually do with this.
Absolutely. Share a little bit more with you guys, and I'm gonna try hard because it's a lot more difficult for me than it is for you to kind of show my face a bit more.
Because I think for me, because I just feel like I'm talking to a friend.
Yeah.
And I forget about this and forget about the rest. It might feel different once we start posting, but for me, it's just chilling with my homie.
Chilling with the friends. Yeah. But even then, I still have problems. Like, it takes me time to thaw out for people. Yeah. Like, I'm very hesitant to show all my cards at the table, if you will. Yeah. So it does take me some time, but I'm learning. I'm growing through it. And I'm not as bad as a person as I think I am.
Yeah, you really
So
aren't.
we're gonna show off who I am, and if you don't like it, please let me know in the comments. If you do like it, I'll keep going on.
Don't tell us in the comments. Don't watch. There's 6 other billion podcasts. Don't watch us.
Allie's like, if you don't like it, there's the door.
Basically, like.
Oh yeah. I also wanted to mention this one little thing, if I can.
Yeah. No.
If we got time.
We got time.
There was another thing that I was really nervous for when we were doing the first round, and that was our friendship.
Yeah.
Like, I was really afraid of losing our friendship because, like I said, it takes some time for me to thaw out and open up to people and expose myself for who I am. I'm just a fucking weirdo. And not a lot of people can, well, how do I say it? Not a lot of people engage with my energy. I have a golden retriever energy, I've been told.
Yeah.
But
you have golden retriever energy, but not about yourself.
No,
it's like
others.
For others, yeah.
I'm like a boasting bubble of positivity, and I'm just radiating it on everybody but myself. Yep. It's like a dirty bubble. Everyone looks at me and they're like, wow, she's a bubble. It's so pretty. And then on the inside, it's like, no, it's just filth.
Yeah.
Mentally and emotionally.
Exactly. But I had no idea you were feeling that way.
Yeah.
I
was so afraid that we were because we are so different in very positive ways, but opposites attract. But because we were so different with our mentalities and how we wanted to run the podcast, like you said, like we were aiming for perfectionism, and that was mainly on me. Like, I wanted to edit the fuck out of our first episode.
You did,
because it was just like, oh, I don't like that. Oh, that sounds a little bit degrading. Oh, now I'm cutting her off.
And you would fixate on those little. Like, I remember watching you do one. Oh. Watching her edit, it was just like,
let me just facepalm for a moment.
Yeah, it was a total facepalm. I'm just like, it's too much.
Yeah.
It's too much. It's not, you're losing the integrity of a conversation.
I don't have I have the too much gene, but it's not what you think. But yeah, like, I was so hyper fixated on making everything go together so perfectly that it ended up just falling apart. And then I was like, well, if this is falling apart, like, what's that going to say about our friendship? Like, now she's going to hate me because I don't want to do this the way that she wants to do it. And even when we were talking earlier today, and it's like, this is how we want to do the introduction for the podcast. And I was just like, no, it's not. That's not how I want it to be done. And I was just like, oh, she's going to hate me for that, because like we have very different elements and ways to start things and to finish them. But I think that that's actually a glowing moment for us, because it kind of helps show our individualism.
Yeah, of course. Like, as much as we are friends and we get along and we have a lot of things we agree on, we're still very different people. We have different styles, we have different personalities, and the way you want something done, the way I want something done is very different.
Absolutely.
But we've come together.
There's nothing wrong with different.
No, there's nothing wrong with different. But with this, we've kind of come in and we've talked about what we want and what we don't want. Like the original one, you were going to do the audio version. I was going to do the
for the editing?
The editing. And I was going to do the video, and we weren't communicating as to what.
No.
It was going to be two different things.
Yeah.
Your version of it and my version of it.
We were not utilizing the Google Docs.
No, we were not. We were not. And it's just, we've learned from that. We've learned that. And like say, I had no idea that was a fear of yours, that you were worried that us talking and spending this much time together and like kind of starting a business podcast. What do you call it, a business?
It's a business.
Okay, we'll call it a business.
I don't know if you know this about me, Allie, but I'm a people pleaser.
Yeah, really?
You would never know.
Never.
Absolutely not.
Yeah. That you need to make everyone happy around you while you're suffering on the
Dirty
inside.
bubble.
Dirty bubble. Never heard that. I love it.
I just made it up. So
it's great.
It's a new thing.
And so starting this new endeavor with a friend is always scary. But like say, knowing that that's a fear of yours, I can reassure you and like be honest with you. If things aren't going well, or if things aren't working, or I don't like something, and we've learned like to not take it personally.
Yeah.
I think you more than I've learned that skill a while ago about keeping friends and business and profession and projects separate.
Yeah.
They intertwine, but they can be separate.
Yeah.
And you go in with a different hat on. And I feel like you've learned that in the aspect of communicating that if I say something related to the podcast, you're not going to take it personally. Well, I hope you will.
The communicating is the difficult part, but it's more so like self-deprecating. That's what I have trouble with.
Yeah.
And I'll say it like this, and I hope that it doesn't get taken negatively, but if you say something to me like, oh, Megan, I don't like how you edited that. This is what we need to do. I take that criticism a little bit too personally.
Yes.
And it's not because I don't know how to decipher the differences. It was more so the fact that like I just didn't heal the way that I should have mentally.
Yeah.
And I was in such a dark place. And I don't even, it's a gray area, because it wasn't my darkest moment. It was a gray area. I was like, oh, wow, I'm feeling really depressed and low mood and low energy. And then trying to bring myself back up, and then you giving me advice on how to change things around for the podcast, I put that on myself and I like beat myself up over it. So it's not so much the fact that I didn't have that helmet in my arsenal already, or the tool in my toolbox already. It's just the fact that I couldn't see it.
Yeah.
You know, there was so much shit in my toolbox. I couldn't find it in the bottom.
It was not an organized.
No,
box.
She was not organized by no means. I am still pulling cheese strings out of my toolbox.
Oh, yes. It takes time. And you learn, you grow, and you improve. And that's all that we can do.
And that's what this podcast is
about. And that's all it's about. So now we're going to do our little closing thoughts. So what we kind of want to do is we want to tie back our first tarot reading and our card and see if this card still kind of is relevant and if it intertwines with what we were already thinking. So once again, it was the
10 of Crystals. She is a beautiful alligator going into the water of her own worth. Essentially, we started off with the idea that I said that she was dipping her toe into the water, like just trying something new, trying to start out fresh. You were looking more on the
completion,
full
moment, what was I say? Yeah, completion, full moment, knowing what Pentacles means, a happy home life, like it's a celebratory type of card because it's the end of the Pentacles.
The 10 is a completion.
Yeah,
absolutely. And now after doing this podcast or episode, I should say, after doing this episode and reading what she is about, I kind of have the same mentality over it. Like the 10 of Crystals, I still believe that she is rediscovering a new path, and she's walking down and treading it lightly. She's gaining the experience and visualizing everything before it actually reaches that pinnacle moment of completion.
Yes.
So she's going down a new journey. She's going down a path.
She is going down a path.
Yeah.
And I think we're on the right path. Like I do think this card's very fitting for this first podcast. It's very reassuring, very encouraging for us. So I'm very excited.
How do you feel about the card? Do you feel like it's the same, or do you see
I feel it's the same. Like I see it as like it is talked about like stability, attainment, full circle moment, rebirth, coming in, restarting with a new set. So no, I think it's very fitting.
Okay, yeah. She don't change much.
Nope.
But there's probably going to be times where we're doing a podcast and in the beginning we see it one way, and then at the end of it we might see it a different way. Yeah. This is the path of enlightenment. This is what we want with this podcast.
Exactly. We want it to be real.
Yeah.
And engaging and us.
Absolutely. Get to little know. Wow. Okay, we're talking about glitch in here. Get to know a little bit about us. And that's, take of the day. I don't know if you're okay with me starting that up, but take of the day is not to take yourself so seriously.
Good one. Yes. Yeah. I'm just trying to find the music. It's not working.
And if people want to give you some advice or some suggestions, sometimes it's okay to have different opinions to the person, but still appreciate their perspective, because you can always learn something new from people that you never expected you would.
Yes, 100%.
Doesn't mean you have to take the advice though.
Yeah. But it's good to listen to the advice, even if you don't take it.
Always listen.
Yeah, but then you make your own judgment.
But have your own voice.
Exactly. All right, so we're going to go into our socials. What do we got for our socials?
Boop, boop, boop. All right, folks. So I think that is the end of our podcast. We hope that you enjoyed listening into our very first episode.
Yay, it was a good one.
Allie,
we will get better. We will get better. Less jumbling, less rambles.
That's right. But you know what? That's how you know that this is our first and real podcast.
Exactly.
So, Allie, where can we find you?
You can find me on Instagram, Allie_strongwoman.
And you can find me at Handora_reading. Feel free to contact us at any point in time if you have any questions, queries. But if you want to know a little bit more about our podcast, or you want to reach out and do a little bit more liking, subscribing, and buzzing on that notification bell, you can find us on Instagram or YouTube at SGS Huffle Hot. It's SG Shuffle.
There we go.
Podcast.
No, SG Shuffle.
It's just SG Shuffle?
Is it? I don't know. I'm questioning now.
Oh no. See, we changed it for the Instagram and the YouTube to be the same, but don't you worry, we will
have it down in the description, because we tried to be prepared, but I don't think I wrote it down right.
We literally said in the beginning of this. Make sure that we have our socials posted.
We wrote them down, but I think it is short.
Please like us, subscribe.